Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you're here with me today. Thank you so much. I am the Maven, and we're going to talk about Gen X today. So you can put all your other drama aside, whatever drama you're into, let it go, and we're just going to have fun and talk about Gen X. Um, so we got Mumsy in the house. Mumsy in the house. Woohoo! I hope Chalet and Andy and maybe Robert with True Crime Cult and maybe Lemoyne. Haven't seen Lemoyne in a while, but he did just post something. Um, I noticed came up in my YouTube feed. Uh, so, but before we talk about Gen X, I have something exciting to do. Yes, indeed. I today got a box. Woohoo! Thank you, Mumsy, for the box. It looks like this. It's not actually from Amazon. That's just a reused box. So shall we look and see what I got? I'm so excited. Ooh, this is a smudge stick. It's sage, and you burn it like incense to like purify your space. So yay, smudge stick. Let's see what else we got. Brown gravy mix. Alrighty, good. Thank you. Ooh, chickles. I gave one package to the post office ladies, and the other one. And then I ate one, and then there's two more. Chickles. Who remembers chickles? Us Gen Xers, aren't they amazing? I'm glad they're still around. What else have we got? Oh, another spice mix. Beef stroganoff. I actually have a half a container of sour cream that I'm waiting to make some beef stroganoff with. So maybe I'll just use this to make it easier. And pecans. Nuts are super expensive here in Cambodia. So anytime she can send me pecans, almonds, walnuts, but not cashews because they grow cashews here. So cashews, I'm good. Pine nuts, walnuts, pecans, almonds. Yes. And these are some like chocolate Easter things. They got a little bit melted. More pecans. Yay. Oh, we were talking about this the other day. Corned beef hash. I'm going to enjoy that. Oh, no, this is for my son, James. A nice, from Crazy Horse. It says the Crazy Horse Memorial. So it's like a scarf hat thing. A bandana. It's a bandana. I'm happy to have these. So we had these, I had some this Easter, and I used them with my tutoring group, and they had so much fun. And it was so nice to be able to share a little bit of our Easter traditions with my class. And so now I didn't have any more. So yeah, so after Easter, get them on sale, drop them in a box to me, so I have them ready for next year. Great job, Mumsy. Oh, wait a minute. This says happy birthday. Does that mean I can't open it until June 13th? Ah, I was ready to like open this and see which kinds of chocolates were in it because I know she custom does my favorites. I like California Brittle, Mayfair. What's the one with brown sugar and maple and walnuts? And the Mayfair has some maraschino cherries in it. I can't remember the name of the other one, but it looks like it's round like the Mayfair, and it has, but it's like a brown sugar cream, and it's got walnuts in it. Oh, so good. Ooh, what is this? Peeps in Dr. Pepper flavor. That's new. 2 packages of regular Peeps. All right, we're going to be set for Easter. Oh, and the marzipan. Oh my God, I love the marzipan. I knew there was a 4th one. Yes, marzipan. Oh, I love marzipan. Oh my God, and it's in a dark chocolate. What is this? Ooh. Oh, so it is a wild huckleberry chocolate bar. Wow. This is from her trip to Yellowstone. Of course, it says Utah on it, but that's fine. And it feels pretty solid, Mom. It's not melted. It's pretty solid. Junior mint eggs. This looks like it got kind of melted into one big thing. Probably, I can tell, because see, it's like the oil, the peppermint oil is coming through. Huckleberry jam, because blueberries are like my favorite food. So huckleberries are like blueberries. So huckleberry jam. Oh, is this a chokeberry? That's huckleberry. And this is chokeberry. Chokeberry tea. But I bet that's going to be delicious too. Oh, but underneath it says something about huckleberry something on the bottom. I can't see the other word. I just need more light. Pistachio jello. Just in time, because I had one and I opened it. I always try to pace myself. So there's 3 of those, and oh, nice, a keychain. So let me look at this. Let's see. And the keychain has like charms on it. So there is a butterfly charm and a little girl charm. See the little girl? It's like a little girl, and there's a butterfly on it, and there's a nice little key thing, and it's just really interesting design. The keychain is for James. Okay. So the keychain and and the bandana are for James. Got it. And maybe I'll give him these chocolates too. Alrighty. Thank you, Mumsy. No. What's for James? Not the keychain or not the chocolate. You got to say a little something more. Maybe we could talk afterwards and you can tell me more specifically. So put all these things back in the box and we'll get going. Thank you, Mumsy. And if anybody else wants to send me a box, my post office box address is in the description. Every week it's there. How fun. Give him the eggs and the scarf. Oh, the junior. Give him these. Junior mint eggs. Anything huckleberries mine. Yes. Okay. Got it. Okay. I'll set that there. Goes there like that. Alrighty then. We're ready. Are we ready? Where's Chalet? Where's Andy? You guys are my old faithfuls. You know, because I've got some cute little videos to share. So let's do that for our Gen X. You guys ready? Let's start up with the Gen X. Present. Let's go. This one, I think. Oh no, not that one yet.
The 19.
Okay, wait. That's where that cat. Huh. Okay, it's this one. Share this tab instead. Okay, I thought this was hilarious when I saw it. Let me check. You guys can see it. Yeah. So this girl is throwing a temper tantrum, and the mom's standing there like with a spoon in her hand. So watch what the mom does.
Je comprends pas, parle doucement quand tu me parles.
Non, je vais aller du camp, parler comme ça, je parle doucement là, ou pas. J'ai dit non parce que maman
In French, it doesn't matter what they're talking about, what they're saying.
je vais aller du camp, parler comme ça, je parle doucement là, ou pas.
Oh.
J'ai dit non parce que.
Oh my God, you're welcome. Thank you, Mumsy. That is hilarious. That is something I would totally do. Mumsy, did you do that to me? Probably. I don't know. Or something like that. The wooden spoon. This isn't wooden in the video, but definitely I remember the wooden spoon. It was just a thing for us growing up. No, you wouldn't have hit me in the face like that. Boing! I didn't do it to my kids, but I would have. They were acting like that. I totally would have. Okay. So this one, now maybe I can pause it. But this was a great compilation of the technology that people use today and what we used instead. So listen, maybe the face, never the face, maybe the arm, for sure. All right, let's watch this. Okay, we didn't need a smartphone because we had a telephone. And if you were lucky, you had a cool looking one like this. We didn't need a smartwatch, but we did have a Casio calculator watch. If you were a nerd, it was available. I know they don't sound the way I planned. This was our iPod, the Sony Walkman. Absolutely. Do we have anybody new in the house? Nobody new yet? All righty. Well, I mean, I can see some people are viewing, but just not writing in the chat. That's okay. You're still welcome here. Okay. Our iPod was the Walkman. And our playlist was a mixtape. Yes. This is how we Googled. Absolutely. My grandparents had an encyclopedia. If you guys didn't know, these books are called an encyclopedia as a group all together. But because there's so much information, it would be like the A book, the B book. I could see here that like C to CH or something, and then like CL to or whatever. I mean, it's broken up into different volumes because there's so much information, and it's in alphabetical order. And you can look up and anything that you Google, you would look it up in an encyclopedia. Our text messaging. Isn't that cute? We actually used to write notes. Yes, we did. How we lived without Xbox and PlayStation. We had an Atari. And then we also had the arcade. I would add that, like going to the arcade where you had Pac-Man and things like that. And there were still pinball machines around. Okay. And then also showing this one, the Nintendo, like the old school Nintendo. Yep.
Your day is through.
We didn't need email because we wrote letters. You know, I would like actually show a picture of an envelope with a stamp on it. You know, we would have pen pals. And sometimes you'd go to summer camp and you meet people, and then you would write letters to them the rest of the year until summer came around again. If you went back to the same camp again, you'd see them again. There would even be like in Tiger Beat and Teen Beat and different magazines, there would be like a classified ad section where you could get pen pals and write people. That would be like, well, not exactly like Tinder, but kind of that kind of concept, only not for dates, but just for friends, you know. Hey, Gibbo's in the house. Gibbo's in the house. Hey, good. I hope you're enjoying these, what our lives were like, what our technology comparison was. Okay. This was our YouTube, right? Watching MTV. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good days. This was our GPS. Using a map. Woo! And having to fold over from page. Then, like, if you want to go north, then you turn to this page. If you want to go west, you know, east, then you turn to this page. If you want to go west, you turn to this page. If you want to go south, you turn to this page. You had to flip to a different page in the book, you know. Yeah. You kind of had to be smart. Gibbo says, hi, Christine. And yes, we had pen pals in the 90s. It was cool. Don't know why they stopped that. I used a site called Pen Pals. Exactly. That you know, and that's what I meant as far as like Tinder, as far as like, you know, you're kind of putting yourself out there to meet somebody that you have you absolutely don't know. But instead of an app, we had like magazines, or as you said, a website that would list, you know, pen pals. Yeah. And then you would start writing each other. You wouldn't go out on a date. You'd be writing. All right. Let's see what else we got.
You know what to do.
How we lived without Kindle or Nook. We had real books. What a concept. And we had to use the Dewey Decimal System in order to find the one that we wanted. I still like real books, but I really do enjoy my Kindle in that it lights by itself. So I don't have to have a light on, because then if I'm reading and I'm falling asleep and I want to turn the light off, then I wake up when I go to the movement of having to turn the light off wakes me up. And then I have to turn the light back on and start reading again until I fall asleep. You know? But with the Kindle, it'll just shut off by itself if I don't turn any pages. Let's see what you guys are saying. Nothing yet. All righty. Our funny memes. Using a calculator, you have to figure out what number is good. Well, actually, we kind of had a code or a cipher that, you know, so 8 makes a B, 0 makes an O, 1 makes an I, the number 3 makes an E, 5 makes an S, right? And so we had a code as far as what numbers would make what letters if you turned the calculator upside down. And but yeah, somebody spelled boobies. This was our social network. Indeed. The kid, in fact, it was like the kids in your neighborhood became your friends. It didn't matter what socioeconomic, race, whatever. I mean, if they lived next door, they became your friends, you know. Gibbo says MSN Messenger was crazy, sitting and waiting for your crush to come online and then activate your chat and speak to everyone but them, hoping they would pop up for you to say sup. For anybody who doesn't know, sup means what's up. Yes. Gotta fix my shirt, my sarong. All righty. What else we got?
Sometimes if I shout,
How we binge watched. and it was great. Look at all these are great movies. This almost looks like my collection. So there's Kramer versus Kramer, Indiana Jones, Overboard, The Color Purple. I can't see what one that is. Clash of the Titans, Bounty. Is that the Mel Gibson like Mutiny on the Bounty one? Was just Bounty? Yeah. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Robin Williams, Good Morning Vietnam, Cocktail. I have Cocktail. I can't read what that's kind of blurry. The one in red. E.T., Crocodile Dundee, Grease, Platoon, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Top Gun, Dirty Dancing, Lady Hawk, and I can't see what that one is. It's Warner Brothers. So there you go. Binge watch. This is how you binge watch. You didn't have DVD. You didn't have anything on demand. Yeah. All right. What's next?
it's not
Mr. T. This was our iPad. For sure. So this is, if you don't know, this is kind of like a magnetic strip, or something. And you take that little plastic pen and you can draw, write, whatever. And then you lift up the page and it erases. And then you fold it back down and you can write and draw and play tic-tac-toe or do whatever you want. And then just lift up the page and then it erases. It's only while there's the contact and you write with your plastic tipped. I mean, I guess now we would call it a stylus, but yeah, and you would write with that. It's just plastic. There's no ink or anything in it. They call it a magic slate paper saver. We had Good Morning Vietnam on cassette. We recorded the radio bits for in the car. Ah, clever, Gibbo. That's awesome. So what do we got next?
what's intended.
And our iTunes, absolutely. And we'd all have these like little cabinet case things to put them in, and then the drawers would close so you wouldn't see them, and you pull. But then sometimes you had those big, tall, stackable ones, and then especially with the CDs, and then you can see the edge and which music was there. And it was always interesting, like how people organize, whether they just threw them in or if they put them together by genre or by artist or what, how people organized their music was always something fun to look at.
These words just come out.
How we took screenshots. Who remembers this stuff? I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a Play-Doh rubbery kind of thing, and it works with the newspaper. It only works with. I mean, if you don't have newspaper, I don't think it would work, because newspaper still has a bit of the ink on top of the paper. So when you push this flat down on part of it, then a mirror image of it comes off. And one of the things, you guys ever like take wax paper and then like a piece of charcoal and you put it on something, or even like you put a leaf on the table and then you put the wax paper on top, and then you could do it with pencil lead or with charcoal's better, and then you make the bumps of whatever it is that you're moving across. Make an image. I would say that too. Okay, better. I had a dry throat there. Play-Doh. Yeah, love Play-Doh. Love the smell of Play-Doh. But don't eat Play-Doh.
with no crutch.
Or FaceTime. Isn't that fun? Do you guys remember doing all those, Miss Mary Black, 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 all dressed in black. Oh, Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black. Then she went to this, and then this, that, and is there a name? Patty cake? It's patty cake, right? When you do all that, and you would get these quite complicated things, but even above doing patty cake, which could have complex rhythms, the older you got, and also the rhymes that you would say with doing patty cake. Our FaceTime, it was actually face to face, live people, not through technology. We were actually with our friends, whatever we were doing, we were with them for real. Or don't they call that in real life, IRL? Now you have to even have like initials for in real life. Oh, and the only tracking our parents had. Who did this? I didn't use collecting cards. I used like a deck of cards, playing cards, like for poker or whatever. And you would take a clothespin and put it there where the spokes of the wheel, as it went around, would go clack, 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 and everybody could hear you coming. That's for sure. Alrighty. But that was fun. I saw that. I was like, oh, I got to save this link so that I can share it on Gen X night. All right. Well, I've got another video that we can take a look at.
The 1970s began as an extension
Wouldn't that
of the
be cool
60s,
to have a van
and
like
then
that?
took a turn
Everybody knew
as Generation
somebody
X grew into their own.
with a van.
There were so many contrasting things happening, from Watergate to the emergence of the summer blockbuster movie. It was certainly a time when escaping reality was necessary, and it ended up giving us so many memorable moments. So let's take a look back, and if you grew up in the 1970s, you may remember this.
Recollection Road.
Shag carpeting really
Shag
did look
carpet!
hideous, but it was also surprisingly comfortable on bare feet. After all, you could lay on the carpet and make angel patterns on the living room floor.
You can make angel patterns. I don't think I ever did that. I don't recall. Mumsy, did I ever do that? Like, when you do an angel thing in the snow, did I ever do that on the shag carpet? I don't remember ever doing that, but I do remember it being my chore to rake it every day. So my mom was at work, and then I'd come home first. She hates the term latchkey. She refuses to say I was a latchkey kid, but I was home first. And so my rule was that I had to have that shag carpet raked before she got home from work. That was my chore every day. And we had gold color shag carpet. What are you guys saying? No, you don't remember me doing that. Yeah, I don't either. That was fun. Thank you, Mumsy. I thought it would be fun for us to go through that video. Now we'll go through this video and see what we get.
Beyond the soft touch, it also came in a variety of earthy shades.
Look, okay, so
from rust orange and moss green.
That's very much like our shag carpet, gold color. But look what they're doing. They're doing that hook thing. They're making the hook rugs, where you'd get like a piece of yarn, an already cut piece of yarn, and you had this special tool, kind of like a knitting tool, and you would put but I think it had a latch on it, and you'd put the piece of yarn on there, and this would be like a big net, and so you would poke it through, and tie it in a knot, and then you kept doing that and filling all the holes, and until you had a nice pattern on a rug thing. No comments. Nobody else remembers that. All right. Mumsy and I did lots of arts and craft things: decoupage, painting ceramics, crocheting, lots and lots of things.
Green to
Macrame.
sunshine yellow and sky blue. On top of those shag carpets were most likely couches or decorative pillows upholstered in big floral prints. Let's also not forget about the macrame owl you had hanging
There's
around
the
the house
macrame.
too.
We'd do these big things to hang
This
plants
decade
in
will
them.
always be remembered for the very first home video game,
I love
Pong.
Pong.
That's because this two-dimensional game, which was released by Atari in 1972 as a stand-up arcade, was a game
1972.
changer. It was meant to be a computerized version of table tennis, which involved a white dot slowly bouncing back and forth between two white lines, known as paddles. If you loved playing Pong, then you most certainly remember destroying enemy ships in the arcade game Space Invaders,
Space
which was
Invaders.
released later in the decade.
I was very good at Space Invaders.
One of the most popular toys of the time was something called clackers.
Clackers.
They were two heavy balls attached to a string that
They
you
became
banged together to
illegal.
make noise. They actually turned out to be quite dangerous and were eventually banned.
So my Uncle John, who I always say is more like a big brother because he was just 7 years older than me, he had blue glass clackers, and I think they were glass anyway, or at least they were clear. Could have been some kind of really hard plastic, but I loved getting my hands on those. I was pretty good at that too. And recently they've kind of, a softer plastic version has been in Cambodia, and I've got a couple of videos on my channel of the clacker kids. Mumsy said she did a Christmas rug, and Gibbo says we did a massive cross stitch. Oh yeah, and cross stitch and embroidery. We had to take it home and stitch it, and in the end, it was our primary school, and it was sold for charity. Wow, that is so good that it was like a big school project thing that everybody got together. That's cool.
There's also no doubt you begged your parents for $4 so that you could buy a pet rock.
I
You got to feed your pet rock, dress it up with googly eyes, and take it for a walk, just like a real pet.
Yep. I had a pet rock.
Do you remember the cool metal lunchboxes you used to carry to school?
I had the lunchbox.
The sturdy tins protected your bologna sandwiches and were often decorated with cartoons, superheroes, or your favorite movie characters.
And then you had the thermos.
And of course, don't forget the matching thermos that came with it.
Totally.
In the 70s, every kid seemingly wanted to look like Adam Rich from the TV show 8 is Enough.
Well, I wasn't a boy, so
they made their parents give them a bowl haircut. If you're unfamiliar with a bowl cut, it's exactly what it sounds like. Mom would put a bowl over your head and use scissors to cut around the edges. The resulting distinctly 70s haircut made it seem like you were wearing a salad bowl as a hat. But if it was good enough for baseball player Pete Rose and Olympic figure skater Dorothy Hamill, it was good enough for anyone.
I had Dorothy Hamill, but Dorothy Hamill's was not a bowl cut because she actually had the back was tapered and layered. So from the front, it's looking like a bowl cut, but if you see around the side and the back, it's actually, there's a tapering. It's a nice haircut. I had a Dorothy Hamill haircut for a while. There was a time I wanted to be like.
Who could forget the educational animated shorts that
I wanted a Shirley Temple curls, and so my mom bought a box of Home Permanent, and she did a perm on my hair, and I didn't look like Shirley Temple, and I just remember crying, and I was so afraid to go to school and like to let anybody see my hair. Yeah, but well, whatever. We lived through it. right? We lived through it. Eventually, the permanent wore off. There's some pictures somewhere of that. What kind of haircuts did you guys have? Schoolhouse Rock. I love all the Schoolhouse
Popped
Rock.
up during your usual Saturday morning cartoon lineup. Without you realizing, Schoolhouse Rock taught you timeless lessons about grammar, math, politics, and science. The cartoons were funny and the songs were catchy. I'm sure you can still sing the whole Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function song without
Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Yes. And it's hard for me to do like the preamble of the Constitution without singing it. Like, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Da 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 da. Even for the common defense. Da 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 na 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 na, liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do or die. Maybe la da 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 da. This Constitution of United States of America. Did you sing along with me? I know, Gibbo, if you're in the UK, that probably didn't make any sense to you. But for those of you in the US, yeah,
missing
buddy.
a beat. The
Mood
biggest
rings.
70s fashion accessory was the mood ring, which was a ring that could recognize your emotional state. Blue meant you were calm or relaxed. Amber meant you were nervous or anxious. And black? Well, that meant you were about to lose your temper. To calm yourself down, you may have relaxed on your bed and read the latest issue of Tiger Beat magazine.
Tiger Beat.
The original teen pop culture magazine was also full of posters that kids plastered their bedroom walls with.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
At school, especially during gym class, you wouldn't be caught dead without a classy pair of tube socks.
Tube
At
socks.
the time, it was quite the fashion statement.
Yes.
If those socks reached all the way up to your knees, even better.
With the stripes on
Rarely
the
in the
top.
history of fashion has a clothing style been universally accepted by both men and women.
Me right
But that
there.
was the
Come on,
case,
Steve.
especially with the shortest of
Here,
shorts
maybe a little
and
black.
colorful striped tube socks.
Yep. And sneakers. Tennis shoes.
All it took was one seriously terrifying movie, Steven Spielberg's Jaws, to keep an entire generation of children out of the ocean. Jaws
Yeah.
made its big screen
wasn't
debut in
afraid
the
to
summer
go
of
in the ocean.
1975, terrifying a nation with a 25-foot mechanical shark
I did see the
and
movie.
crystallizing the concept of a summer blockbuster. It made children and adults alike scan the water for signs of a shark fin anytime they were near the
I was
ocean.
more interested in maybe finding a shark tooth, like you look for shells and stuff.
When Star Wars first hit movie theaters in 1977, it was unlike
Look at that puffy jacket. The puffy jacket for sure. That was like so big. And the feathered hair. That's how I had my hair. It was feathered most, it's the way I like it the best. But, and he's probably going to say this, the big thing about Star Wars, it was the first time you saw a movie more than once, that you went back and saw it again and again and again. That hadn't happened before.
like anything the world had ever seen. It was immersive, and the special effects were groundbreaking. If you ask anyone who saw the original Star Wars in theaters about their experience, they'll probably be able to tell you every little detail, right down to how long they waited in line. For many kids, Star Wars defined their childhood. Kids were absolutely obsessed with the movie franchise, and they wanted every Star Wars toy that was released.
True.
Do you remember learning how to do the hustle for the very
Yes.
first time?
Junior high.
The song came out in 1970.
In junior high, in gym class, that there were just like this instructors, and we were all in a row just like this, and they taught us how to do the hustle, as in the hustle from Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Fever. I'm sorry, not Saturday Night Fever. Yes, I did Which one? Which one, Mumsy? I didn't see which one you're talking about. I did what? I did all of these, right?
75, and everyone immediately wanted to learn the dance. The YMCA and the chicken dance also originated during this time,
Yes.
and they too led to crazes that saw everyone performing the dances together.
YMCA. Of course, I wasn't old enough to go to discos.
In the 1970s, music was everything. You wouldn't just fan over your favorite bands. You'd play their records on repeat and tape.
You see this one right here? That's Roger Daltrey. And that's the album. I mean, if I'm looking at it correctly, that's the Roger Daltrey album that was used in Tommy. And I went out and found it just because of that, because of the movie Tommy. And it's like, oh, what's this album? I went and I got it. And then I like there's a song Behind Blue Eyes and stuff.
Their faces all over your bedroom walls. You may have also grown to love 8-track tapes. These devices gained steadily in popularity because you
They
could
were on
take
the
them
way
with
out.
you.
I remember them.
And many car makers even
In the
included
car.
an 8-track tape player in new models of their cars.
The
This
Macarena.
meant you could listen
Yes.
to whatever you wanted while you cruised the streets of your hometown. They weren't the most user-friendly audio formats, but boy, you sure did love them. Every decade has its top music genre, and in the 70s, disco reigned supreme. If you were brave enough to go to an actual disco, you could get down to the sounds of Casey and the Sunshine Band, the Bee Gees, and the Tramps. Even the Rolling Stones released a disco track to get in on the trend. If that wasn't enough disco for you, you could even strap on some skates
Totally.
and head over to the roller disco. These fast-paced parties would be complete with shiny outfits, bright lights, and of course, groovy tunes.
I definitely went to the roller skating rink a lot growing up, and I was really good at dancing and stuff on roller skates back in the day, for sure.
TVs in the 1970s weren't nearly the high-definition entertainment centers they are today. You were lucky if you had decent reception, meaning no fuzzy screens or zigzag lines. Otherwise, you'd have to fidget with the rabbit ear antennas until you got a clear picture. And forget about late-night talk shows and around-the-clock programming. If you turned on the TV after midnight, all you'd see is a test card of color bars.
Yep.
Speaking of television, for teens, Happy Days was the coolest of shows, but adults
Pretty big.
also had to get a weekly dose of the TV show MASH.
I liked MASH.
There were other popular shows, of course, like The $6 Million Man
Yeah.
and Charlie's Angels, which contributed to 1970s pop culture
House
in their own way.
It was big.
You may also remember staying up to watch some of the very first episodes of Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
This was back when cast
Yes.
members like Chevy Chase, John Belushi,
This is like the Saturday Night Live. I remember, plus a little. I mean, we don't have Steve Martin, Bill Murray, but these guys, yeah, Rosanna Dana, and everything. You got Chevy Chase, Jane Curtin, Gilda Radner. I don't remember her name. I don't remember his name, but he played Gumby. I know that. John Belushi, and oh my God, what was his name? I forgot. Got a brain fart. Andy, where are you? All right.
and Gilda Radner were at their best, making the entire country laugh together. A 1970s party would never be complete
Cheese
without
balls.
a cheese log or a cheese ball.
Cheese balls.
These must-have snacks involved shredded cheddar, cream cheese, butter, and chopped nuts for rolling. Another 70s food gem was launched by Betty Crocker in 1971 called Hamburger Helper. This easy-to-make hearty dinner fed millions of us with just a box of pasta, powdered sauce, and a pound of ground beef.
Yep. You just add hamburger.
Even if you didn't care much for politics in the 1970s, everyone was talking about Watergate. Each night,
This
the
is
evening news
before my
reported new details of the scandal, and seeing Richard Nixon leave the White House forever as he boarded a helicopter was one of the most surreal moments of the 1970s.
But I do remember on a Girl Scout trip, we went to San Francisco to go to the San Francisco Mint where they make money. And there was a coin of the current president, which happened to be while Ford was president. And so I bought this commemorative coin at the Mint as my souvenir. And I got home and my mom was like, "Oh, he's not a real president." I was like, "Huh."
Regardless of what side you were on. At Recollection Road, I believe preserving the past is incredibly important, and our friends at Legacy Box do too. So much so, they've offered my viewers a code for 55% off. In today's digital age, analog media like VHS tapes and film reels are fading, risking the loss of cherished memories due to things like mold, dust, and time. But Legacy Box, trusted by over 1.5 million families, offers a simple and safe solution to protect your memories before it's too late. With Legacy Box, you can convert your analog treasures into digital memories. .com/recollection to save 55% while supplies last.
Looks like a
The
good
Marlboro Man was a campaign that showed how rugged you could look smoking filtered cigarettes. During the 1970s,
I remember
actual ranchers were used to portray the iconic character in both print and commercial advertising.
Mumsy used to smoke, and so she would give me all
The 1970s was full of great movies.
the like UPC codes, and you would turn those in and get gifts. I got lots of good gifts.
But some would say that this decade is where horror movies became mainstream. The success of such movies as The Exorcist,
End of the 70s,
Halloween, and the Amityville Horror
into the 80s.
made going to the movies a new experience, where you would leave the theater rattled.
I loved watching horror movies.
The news of the 1970s was consumed by three main topics. The Vietnam War continued, and more Americans were being reported dead each night.
I was totally
During this same time, the Watergate scandal was also making headlines and would lead to Richard Nixon resigning. The oil crisis was also front and center, with long lines of cars and rationing of gas becoming a regular thing.
So what they would do for us is, according to your license plate, if your numbers ended in odd or even, you could go get gas on that day. And so Mumsy would pile me in the car in the little light blue Opel, and we would get to in fact, we would like stop at McDonald's and get some breakfast and have that in the car with us while we sat and wait. And we tried to get as close to the front of the line as possible, because the gas stations would actually run out of gas at some point in the day. But we just didn't want to have to wait in line so long. But sometimes, you could spend an hour in line waiting to get gas. I remember her dragging me out of bed and going early to get gas. Gibbo says they have an annual cheese rolling event in the UK. It's pretty crazy. Lots of people, LOL. People race, I think, but it starts off at the top of a hill and a cheese wheel is rolled down, and then everybody else rolls down. That sounds fun. I think I saw something like that on one of the Amazing Race episodes. I don't know if it was in the UK or someplace else in Europe, but definitely I remember big wheel of cheese and rolling it down like those raclette things. Big, the size of a tire, Cool. You guys have the gasoline prices or petrol?
If you grew up in the 70s, the color Harvest Gold is probably very familiar to you. Kitchen appliances were very popular in this color, and usually the bathrooms would be colorful as well, with avocado green porcelain fixtures.
Yeah. It was the yellow, the green, the brown, and the orange.
Music during the 1970s was all over the place, from Motown to rock to disco. Motown was still relevant because they had the Jackson 5.
I saw the
Rock
Jackson
and roll
5.
bands like the makeup and costume wearing Kiss and the Southern rockers Leonard Skinner gave teens an alternative
Remember
to the
when
late surge of disco music.
I gotta tell you, I remember when Leonard Skinner's airplane crashed because my friend Christine Barreras, her sister was it was couple of years older than us. So we were like just before junior high. And her sister was already in high school. And she was a big fan of Leonard Skinner. And I saw on the news that, there was this plane crash and, most of them died or whatever. So I thought, oh, she'd want to know. And so I picked up the phone and I called Corrine, I think was her name. And I said, Corrine, I just heard on the news, Leonard Skinner had a plane crash and they died. And she started screaming and wailing. And I was just like, oop. I mean, I was on the phone, but I just remember having this sinking feeling, they talk about being the bearer of bad news. I had no concept of that. I just put together that she liked this band and there was news about this band. So I told her the news about the band without thinking that it was bad news. I learned. I still remember that to this day, be careful with news.
There were also many teens wearing
We'll be right
t-shirts
back. Okay.
that showed off their distaste for disco music throughout the late 1970s.
That's true.
To showcase music on television, the popular shows Soul Train and the Midnight Special gave fans the opportunity to watch performances of their favorite singers and bands.
See, you gotta realize that we didn't have MTV where you could just watch music videos and things, or even concerts or whatever of your artist. Either you went to one of their concerts and saw them live, you saw them perform on a variety show like the Sonny and Cher show or the John Denver show, or some kind of show or marathon like the Jerry Lewis Marathon or something, or a Christmas special. You'd have a chance to see them singing. And then you had American Bandstand, Soul Train, and the Midnight Special, which were like every Saturday. And you would get to so keep in mind, not only did you get to see your favorite singer singing, but you got to watch the people dancing, and you could pick up dance moves. You could pick up fashion. Ooh, I want to go find clothes that look like that, or ooh, I want to do my hair like that, or ooh, I want to try dancing like that. That's because you didn't have TikTok and everything and all the social media. You didn't have that. You had to wait until Saturday once a week to be able to experience that.
For the Midnight Special, you would have to stay up late because it aired on Friday nights following The Tonight Show. Primetime television during the 1970s was an eclectic mix, much like music of the day. The Brady Bunch and The Partridge Family were wholesome family-centered comedies, while Starsky and Hutch added some action to the mix.
Love Starsky and Hutch.
All in the Family was a new kind of comedy show that pushed limits when it came to political correctness, and fans loved it.
I still enjoyed watching.
Other shows that made for regular viewing were The Waltons, Sanford and Son, and The Dynamite. Good times.
Good time.
Evel Knievel seemingly was every boy's idol during this period. Everyone was trying to recreate.
I was just teaching somebody about, like with English grammar tutoring, about because I think they were asking me, what is, how dare you? What does that mean? And so that in explaining that, and explaining what dare means, something risky, and everything, like I dare you to do something. But their question was, if somebody says, how dare you? So I explained that, but I also said, you use it in the context of I dare you to do something. And then I said, now, and I pulled up pictures of Evel Knievel. And I said, this guy was called a daredevil. because he did risky things. These jumps on his motorcycle were risky. So that a person who does that is called a daredevil.
Jumps and playing with toys that were branded with the Evel Knievel name.
Loved Evil
The
Knievel.
popular stuntman was exciting to watch, whether he cleared a jump, crash landed.
I think that's probably one of the reasons we were inspired to always make ramps and try to do little
It was
jumps.
common in the 1970s to see a large handled comb hanging out of the back pocket of a pair of jeans. The fashion statement let everyone know you prioritized hair care. For older men, leisure suits were a great way to make a statement. They were classic, but also casual. To complete the look, a pair of platform shoes were perfect.
And we called that a leisure
Earth shoes were also popular footwear. If you could get used to the negative heel technology that made you feel like you were walking in sand.
Earth shoes.
The year 1976 was an important anniversary in the history of the United States.
Bicentennial.
Our bicentennial was celebrated
Big
with
deal.
parades and ceremonies that led up to the 4th of July celebration that was fitting for 200 years of independence.
Back again. Good. We're almost done.
Patriotism was at an all-time high, with everyone getting in on wearing their red, white, and blue.
Absolutely. Parades.
If you were a kid during the early 1970s, there is no doubt you collected wacky packages. These novelty trading cards produced by Topps featured parodies of consumer products that made kids crack up. Waterbeds were also a trendy way to sleep during the 70s.
Thank you, Mumsy.
These wavy beds peaked in the 1970s, and they were all...
So Mumsy is the queen. She had a waterbed. She had a large waterbed. I had a single size waterbed. It was extra long. There's a special name for the size waterbed I had. But it was single, but it was extra long. So it wasn't called single. It wasn't called twin. Maybe it's called a super single. That might be. And I love sleeping on a waterbed. Awesome.
The rage. It seemed like everyone wanted one.
Must be like our Jubilees. Yes.
In 1977, the death of Elvis Presley shocked the world.
It's not just one.
There are a few events that people remember where they were when it happened, but this announcement was one of them. The funeral that followed was attended by 75,000 fans, lining the streets as the procession made its way by.
I mean, I vaguely remember hearing that Elvis had died. Vaguely. It wasn't like that moment with the Lynyrd Skynyrd thing, because I was so shocked by her reaction that I wasn't expecting. And I think that I was young enough that I didn't really, I knew Elvis songs. I knew who Elvis was. I had Elvis records, but, and if I saw Elvis movies, but I don't think I really understood the impact of his iconic status to realize what a big event it was when he died. But I can vaguely remember, but not where were you when you found out Elvis died? No, I don't have that clear of a memory.
It was also televised 2 days later. During the 1970s, there were some things that every kid had or wanted. Skateboards became the newest way to cruise down the street and show off with your friends. While hanging out in your bedroom, you might have turned on a lava lamp to set the mood, and then grabbed your favorite toy, a Stretch Armstrong, to see how far you could pull his arms before they returned to normal. You may have also relaxed on your bed to read the newest issue of Mad Magazine. Like wacky packages, Mad Magazine made fun of everything, and it was great for a laugh.
Yeah, I'd read some copies.
If you were in the mood for something more serious, you may have picked up a Dynamite magazine to see what your favorite celebrity was up to.
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett was the 1970s in a nutshell. Every girl wanted to look like her with her feathered hair, and every boy fantasized about her. Posters were big in the 70s, and Farrah was pinned on every boy's wall.
Yeah.
Popular pinups for girls were either Sean Cassidy or Leif Garrett.
Garrett. Definitely had them pinned up on the walls. Both of them.
To finish out the list,
Yes.
the movie Smokey and the Bandit was an
Yes.
action-packed thrill
Huge.
ride that took everyone along for the ride. The film was fun to watch and made everyone not only want a Pontiac Trans Am, but also a CB radio.
Exactly.
The movie popularized the
nobody-
use of CB radios, so much so that they began appearing in many teenagers' cars as a way to communicate with friends and also strangers.
Yes.
Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of.
That was great. That was great. So, yeah, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that little walk down a memory lane and some of those earlier videos that I shared at the beginning, as well as my unboxing. And so, yeah, if you missed the beginning, go ahead and watch it on replay. Yeah, it took us an hour. That's perfect timing. Yeah, my birthday's coming up. If anybody wants to send me anything, my post office box is there. You know what else is in there? I'll just throw this out there. If anybody wants to, there's a spa here, and it's like $30-$40, I think, for a massage. And but they've got facials and foot treatments and whatever. They've got different things, and they have a website, and so their website is in my description. So if anybody did want to do something like just online instead of sending an actual, box, then that's an easy thing to do that works well here in Cambodia. I mean, the spa is here in Cambodia. It's reasonably priced. They're very professional, and you can. The instructions are there in my description, as far as you have to put my email in there, and then they'll just you do like a gift certificate, and then they will email me, and then I just print the email and bring it in and get a massage or something. So just it's available. You don't have to, but yeah. Alrighty. So you guys don't ever forget that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you are watching this, don't forget that I love you. Yes, I do. And so I hope to see you again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we've got some Yellowstone pictures. So we haven't done a travel vlog in a long time. So I'm real excited that we've got some travel vlog pictures from Mumsy's Yellowstone trip. So hugs. Mumsy says hugs to everyone. And so tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see you then. Bye.